When you light up, yeah, lights all over me.
All right, we back. We back on another Sunday of the Transition Talk Show, and I am your host, Train. Today, man, I got a real nice show, man, lined up today. Talking with a good special person, man, who's kind of close to me, and I also have another young man that's special to me just as well that'll be joining me. This is a story, of a football journey and how that journey had its toss and its turns, but also, it led to its uprise. So, man, today I'll be interviewing Teldrick Morgan, and also in the house I have my son, Jacoby Grant. What's going on, y'all?
What's going on?
Man, chilling, man. It's been a long time, wanting to sit down and actually, air the laundry, so to speak.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny, man, because football is something that, for most people who play it, it's played mostly off a dream.
Yeah, for sure.
A dream on the next level, then the next level, then the highest level. And it's not easy, from high school to college, and then even to make it into the pros.
Mm-hmm.
It comes with its own adversities. But this is unique. And I think that it's good for us to be able to talk about it because not only have I been through it, you've been through it. I may have kicked the ball off, but you actually, scored the touchdown as far as when it comes to family and what family was capable of doing.
Right.
And then here we is with Kobe, still now making his own milestones. But man, let me know, where you want to start with this, because we could start beginning, the middle, or the end and bring it all the way back.
However you want to do it. We can start from the beginning. That's cool.
The beginning. Yeah, okay, so you started out at New Mexico State.
New Mexico Prep.
Prep.
Yeah.
Before State.
Yep.
Okay. You sure did. Right. But making that leap to New Mexico State, man, you had some big years,
Mm-hmm.
put up big numbers.
Mm-hmm.
But the school wasn't, was, I guess you can say, subpar.
Mm-hmm.
But being able to even go through that and being at a subpar school, you went through some challenges.
For sure.
What was that like?
It was a little difficult, but I guess I'll say I faced adversity for a long time. You feel what I'm saying? So even coming out of high school, a lot of people don't know I didn't play football until 2014. I graduated high school in 2010. You know what I mean? So after high school, 2011, I went to New Mexico Prep. And that was a whole story of its own. Like, we were supposed to play 10 games, we only played 7.
Right.
You know what I mean? I was supposed to play receiver, ended up playing quarterback.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? So just being able to find that, I found that through a friend, but I also had to send tons of emails out every day. You feel what I'm saying? Because my goal was to go D1. I visited some couple schools after high school. I went to like a Towson, a Bowie State and stuff like that, but I always had to send out interviews. I mean, not interviews. I always had to send out emails just to get these coaches' attention in general. You feel what I'm saying? So that's what I mean by adversity. I always had to face that. I had to work 2 jobs, still work out on top of that, and then do whatever I had to do when I got to New Mexico. You feel what I'm saying? So after New Mexico Prep, I ended up sending out maybe 20 emails a day. A couple schools hit me back, like Oregon, the big schools. They want you to come over there, walk on, pay $50,000 in tuition. Like, ain't nobody.
Right.
We ain't got that. So Coach Lil John ended up finding me at New Mexico State, and then I just took it and ran with it. And once I got there, I just felt like it was my time to shine.
Right.
Like, from 2010 to 2014, I had 4 years to prepare. in my mind. But I look at that as, one, it was my passion. Two, I had to be disciplined if that's what I wanted. Also, I had a great support system. Like my mom, you know, she was down for me through thick and thin. My dad as well. You feel what I'm saying? I had you, brothers, everything. You feel what I'm saying? I had a good support system. So just sticking to it and just being consistent and headstrong, man. Like that's just always been me, and it's something that I wanted. You feel what I'm saying? So when I got to New Mexico, whatever that was thrown at me, it wasn't nothing. Right. Because I knew what I wanted. I was laser locked in. I
want you to hold that thought on. You knew what you wanted. Yeah. Right. And we're gonna go into this highlight reel, and then we're gonna come right back.
Involved, they've got a really nice trio of receivers with DJ Moore, Teldrick Morgan, who just made that play, and Lee-Vern Jacobs. They've got some weapons. They just got to find a way to get it out to these guys.
18-yard gain. Best offensive play of the day for the Terps.
I like it, Glenn. This is this determination that we've seen of Morgan all along. If you don't tackle him, don't go down. And Coach always says that. Coach Littlejohn's a big preacher of that.
Hanover, Maryland. It was 4th and 6, 31 yards, Jess.
What a gamble. They go to their playmaker outside, and Morgan, who can make the acrobatic catch. I think he gets that left heel down before he goes out of bounds.
That was the only touchdown y'all scored that guy.
Cintron's last went for 55 yards.
All right, man. So looking at your highlights, you see two different universities. What was that? How did you make that transition, being that you was in two D1 schools?
Well, it was tough getting to Maryland. So it's a story. So how can I start this? So the transfer rules are different now. Like, you allowed to just get up and go whenever you wanted.
Right.
When I was playing, you couldn't do that. You know what I mean? You had to get some type of consent from your head coach to be able to go to a different school where you wanted to go. So in that case, and I'm just gonna go based off in my mind and what I know. You feel what I'm saying? I can't speak for nobody else, but this just going to my mind. So I felt like I was one of the better players, if not the best players on the team. So it was a lot of things that was happening before then, before I made the transition. So I already knew I just couldn't leave. You know what I mean? So I had to take certain steps just to be able to get up out of there. You know what I mean? So I had to do some research, and I ended up finding something. It's called a family hardship waiver or something like that, because I found out that some things that happened at home. You know what I mean? So that's something that I could have used to go back home. So what I did was I took 7 classes online. Ended up passing all those 7 before I graduated. Ended up getting a 4.0. Got the family hardship waiver. Ended up writing a letter explaining why I was, trying to transfer out, because you couldn't say, yeah, I want to transfer and leave. You have to be like, okay, I want permission to contact.
Right.
Because supposedly, and quote me if I'm wrong, they could take your scholarship if you're saying you want to transfer.
Right.
So I had to be like, okay, I want permission to contact this school, right? So I wrote it all up, went into the coach's office, gave him the paper. He ended up looking at the paper, looked at me, and kind of just like threw it back at me. We can cuss on here?
Yeah.
And he just pretty much said, like, this bullshit. Literally just started saying some crazy shit to my face and ended up walking out. So I'm like, all right, whatever. Took the paper. Because I ended up printing out like 3 of them.
So what you're saying is it wasn't easy because it was politics.
Yeah, politics in it, for sure.
Politics. Being that because of skill set or whatever the case may be, just couldn't just leave, because of how it may affect the team, in their upcoming year. but you had plans for yourself.
For sure.
And because you had plans for yourself, you had to learn how to maneuver around the politics of football.
Yeah.
How did those politics, or did those politics ever affect you playing football?
Should they affect me now? Shoot. But no, man, I ended up just to I'm answering your question, but just to finish this, I had to take that paper to him, the head coach, so he could see that. Then I had to take it to compliance so they can understand like why I'm asking for what I want. And then I had to take it to the athletic director, but he was out of town or some basketball tournament or whatever. So I had to just cross my T's and dot my I's. You get what I'm saying? And then after that happened, I went to Maryland spring game. I think it was during the spring sometime. So I had end up going there just to visit. I didn't really know nobody there. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? So I just went and watched it, and then once it finally hit the market, just to fast forward, once it finally hit the market, a whole bunch of schools just started reaching out to me. You know what I mean? I ended up getting on the news for it, Bleacher Report, the whole nine. You know what I mean? So a couple coaches DM me. I don't know if I can say that or whatever, but a couple coaches that ended up DMing me, wanted me to go there. And my top schools was Tennessee and Mississippi State.
Right.
So I wanted to pick between those two. You know what I mean? I ain't really know nobody at Maryland. I had contact with Maryland through, other people, but it's not where I wanted to go. You feel what I'm saying? I just had to get out of the situation where I was at.
Right.
So, because I saw what happened to prior people, you know what I mean? So I just didn't want to be in that, I didn't want to be in that mix, you know what I mean? So the transition to Maryland, it just happened because, so the thing is, let's just say a school, Tennessee, wanted to reach out to you. They had to get permission from the head coach. Like now, you could just go.
Right.
But they had to get permission from the head coach, and he had to be like, okay, tells you can go there. Well, he denied them, denied all of them. So the Western Kentuckys, the Tennessees, the Mississippi State, and there was some other schools that I was looking at as well. They all got denied because he wouldn't let me go there. So Maryland just happened to offer me. So the thing is, when I used the family hardship waiver, it's kind of like, okay, I guess he thought in his mind, like, you had to go to Maryland because if it was a complication at home, this is where you need to be. So I'm looking at it like, well, I live in Maryland, but my family in Texas too. You know what I'm saying? So Tennessee is surrounding.
Right.
Now Mississippi State surrounding. It really doesn't matter. Like, if you mess with me the way you say you did, you would let me go anywhere. Like, I did my job, I did my duty. I had a 4.0. I kept the overall GPA average up.
Right.
Just let me walk if I want to go do something else. You know what I mean? So it just so happened, man, Maryland ended up offering me because he denied everybody but Maryland, Bowie State, and Towson. So Maryland just ended up offering me, and I had to go. You know what I mean? I wasn't going to Bowie State because I already had an in and out with them before.
Right.
You know what I mean? When I graduated high school, they had said some crazy shit to me, and I'm just like, nah, I ain't never going there.
Right.
So Towson, I wasn't going to Towson. They didn't throw the offer, but I just wasn't going. So ended up going to Maryland. To me, it was just another adversity that I had to face.
Right.
And I just took it as that, and I did what I had to do.
When you say adversity, man, speak on it, because if people was just to look at it, or if people had, recall who you were, saw some of your games, it just looked like, another football player playing balling.
Yeah.
But not actually understanding what's going on with the player, off the field.
Yeah.
That challenges being able to stay on that field.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Just like you spoke about it at the beginning, man, it's business. And that's, being a coach now, and that's kind of what I tell my kids, like, this is still a little boy sport. You know what I mean? Like, it's a child's game. You know what I mean? You just can't lose the passion or the love for the game.
Right.
And me growing up, that's just the way I looked at it. Like, to me, in my mind, I had to make it to the league, get my parents a crib, make sure I retire my family. That was my goal. So nothing couldn't stop me from that. But the older you get, you know, we start to face challenges. Everybody know that. Once you get older, we got to start paying bills now. We got to start, you know, getting gas and start getting all this crazy stuff. You know what I mean? But
You
now,
know about that yet? Huh? No. You ready for that part yet? I mean, and it's good, you know what I mean, for him to be able to have to hear.
Yeah.
You know, because he's still in the phase of dreaming.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He had some remarkable dreams, you know, to become reality. You know, winning state twice, you know, playing football on the varsity team since his freshman year. But he's at that senior year now, to where it's no turning back.
Yeah.
Everything is forward moving.
Yeah.
And to be able to have a true understanding on what to look for, it's not just football no more.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? My character is what's going to really take me first. You know, the way that my mindset is what's going to take me. You know what I mean? How much my heart actually wants this is what's really going to take me. You know, it's like it was like me going from Texas and playing football my whole life in Texas to going up to Iowa and going into a snowstorm.
Yeah.
It challenged my heart.
That's adversity too, man. Hot out here, and I know it's cold up there in Iowa, boy.
You know, it challenged my heart. It seemed that, do you really want this?
Yeah.
You know, for what you say that you want, or you really willing to go through everything that it takes to go through it?
Yeah.
When and where do you detour? You know, you really got to be locked in.
Right.
But in its character building the whole way through, because now I'm not a child no more, I'm grown.
Yeah.
You know, I can't cry home and say this happening to me, that happening to me. I have to face this.
Right.
You know, so it's good for Kobe to be able to be in a situation where he is, but also have the type of wisdom and knowledge around him about the game, the ins and the outs. You know what I mean?
Sure.
But it only just prepare him and makes him better. But we're gonna go to a quick video and then we're gonna come back, man. Blue, you can let
Cause emptiness won't last always. I just overwork and get a bag all day. To everyone I'm missing, I count hundreds, then I see they face. Count hundreds, then I see they face. I swear the emptiness won't last always. I just overwork and get a bag all day. To everyone I'm missing, I count hundreds, then I see they face. Count hundreds, then I see they face. I can't trust y'all niggas, y'all make me know it. I can tell y'all fraud. I keep winning like Floyd. Tryna keep me a toy. I've been at it since I was a boy. If there's money involved, I will never avoid. Unless I feel it's poison. I thought the money would fill up a void. Stay strong like the Royals. And I came up from the soul, I stay stick like oh. Yeah, they doubted me, now I'm popping shit, swear I'm bald. And I wish my mama was still here with me, I swear that I kept her spoiled. I never knew that you can feel alone. Even around 1,000 people, you don't feel at home. Cause you know deep down inside when the money gone. Every time it get all bad, you can bet that these niggas won't pick up the phone. Had to leave them alone, my nigga, the emptiness won't last always. I just overwork and get a bag all day. To everyone I'm missing, I count hundreds, then I see they face. Count hundreds, then I see they face. I swear the emptiness won't last always. I just overwork and get a bag all day. To everyone I'm missing, I count hundreds, then I see they face. Count hundreds, then I see they face. I swear holding my daughters made me go harder. I remember feeling big time when I got me a starter. From Dallas to Boca Raton, I was taking out orders, busting out quarters. Moved out to East Palms, De Leon, trying to get shit started. I was trying to move shit further. Needed a fresh start, like my cars need a new starter. Dallas scene just a little harder. Dry hating cause I'm ice water. Never leave the house without the blazing, yeah. Where a nigga come from, it's amazing, yeah. I never knew that you can feel alone. Even around 1,000 people, you don't feel at home. Cause you know deep down inside when the money gone. We can bet on these niggas won't pick up the motherfucking phone. Yeah.
I'm saying, just think about this. Nigga, we in the house. Ain't go nowhere.
When I lose touch with only human assumption, I promise. Happiness won't last always. I just overwork and get a bag all day. For everyone I'm missing, I count hundreds, then I see their face. Count hundreds, then I see their face. Sometimes, no matter what's happening, who around, you just feel empty.
We back on the Transition Talk Show, and I am your host, Train, and I'm here with my special guest, Teldrick Morgan, in the house. Coach Teldrick Morgan. Man, let's speed it up a little bit, right? Okay, you had an opportunity to, man, make it to the highest level. How was that? How was that? You know, despite what it was you had to go through college. You know what I mean? To even be able to still get, you know, all the looks that you needed to get. You know, to still be able to get, you know, to be able to be noticeable. Mm-hmm. You know, despite injuries, despite, you know, transferring schools, despite, you know, having enough playing time, not having enough playing time, but still being a name that floated around. You know, how was that compared to, like, in your time? You had like Amari Cooper and all these type names when you was coming out. Mm-hmm. So, you know, how was that to try to make that leap into the NFL?
Well, I always thought I was going to get there. Well, I knew it. You know what I'm saying? It was just a matter of time. But the transition there, it just get the business at that point. It ain't really about, well, it's still about football, but it's just business. Like, you just got to know the business. You know what I mean? So once I went through pro day and everything, it was different. It was low-key, it was nerve-wracking because, and we talked about this, it wasn't really people around me that really play football that can really walk me through the whole process.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I can only ask my parents but so much questions, you know what I mean? Like, nobody ever went to the league in our family outside of one person. And that one person, I don't even know him.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's not like I could, you know, reach out and be able to say, hey, I need some guidance and assistance on this. You know what I mean? A couple coaches I could have, you know, reached out to, but just the stuff that I went through in college, you can't even reach out to some of them. You know what I mean? Because it's that bad. You know what I'm saying? So after pro day, I felt like I could have did better, but it is what it is. You know, everything's God timing at the end of the day. I had about 7 teams call me before the draft. So I'm thinking like, okay. And prior to that, I already had a coach that told me they was gonna take me second round. You feel what I'm saying? So I'm confident going into it. So draft coming, I didn't get drafted at all. Day one went by, and it's crazy because you see people on TV, these documentaries and stuff like that, and some of them people don't go, you know, where they thought they was gonna go. It's depressing. You feel what I'm saying? Like, it hurt. Yeah. So the first day went, second day went, and third, I'm just like, dang, like, what I'm gonna do? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And then next thing you know, San Francisco called, told me to come out there. I went out there, and I felt like I did my thing out there, man. When I got there, like I said, it was still nerve-wracking because usually some people, like, when he go to the league, I'm already going to know, like, hey, this is what you can expect. So you're not going to be shocked when you get there. Right. You feel what I'm saying? I was going into an unknown situation. Yep. You feel what I'm saying? So to me, I still know I can play ball at the end of the day. Yeah. So I went there. It was probably one of the biggest camps. They had like 109 kids there. You feel what I'm saying? And it was probably like 18 receivers. Mind you, I ain't never been in no situation like this because I always been the best everywhere I went. You know what I mean? So I'm like, dang, I got to share reps with people. You know what I mean? It's like, it's back to camp at New Mexico State. You know what I mean? But it was hard because the first, you only get 3 days in minicamp. You feel what I'm saying? They give you this big old playbook, and you got to learn the plays. And if you don't learn the plays, your ass ain't getting on the field. You feel what I'm saying? You mess up, like, that's it. So I ended up getting maybe like 5 plays my first day. A 2.5-hour practice. You get what I'm saying? It's like I'm catching punts and stuff like that, but I'm a receiver. Like, let me feel. I need to do the whole 9. You know what I mean? Like at New Mexico State, I was a punt returner, kick returner, and receiver.
Right.
You know what I mean? So when I got to Maryland, it was just receiver and punt return. You took me out of my element because I was supposed to be the kick returner there too. So, anyways, the second day at the Niners, man, I ended up going from like 5 plays to like 12. I'm like, okay, I'm feeling good. Hey, messing with the kid now.
Yeah.
So, third day, I ended up getting probably like, I was up there, maybe 15, 16 plays. I was up there. So I'm like, okay, man, they probably gonna sign me. You know what I'm saying? Then next thing you know, they end up taking some dude, Georgia State or somebody or like that. Then that was it. So they send you on that plane back home, man, and then it's back to the grind.
Right.
You know what I mean? To that next call. So at that point, I call my agent and see what's going on and things like that, and that's just a whole nother story.
Yeah. I mean, if you look back on it, right, and being that you're a high school coach now, you're helping other kids to be able to live their dream. Is it something that you would have wanted to do different, or do you believe it's something that could have been done different?
I think it's 2 parts to that question. Speaking on the New Mexico State situation, to answer your question, I never wanted to leave New Mexico. It's just the things that I seen prior to it and what happened, and he changing the whole coaching staff around and bringing people in that couldn't coach me. Because once it get to a point where I got to coach the receivers, we doing too much.
Yeah.
You feel what I'm saying? I'm trying to go to the league. I got a real family that I'm trying to take care of back home. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I can't be a part of this, of what y'all trying to do. Like, I got to go. You know what I mean? But as far as doing something different, man, that's probably the only thing I don't regret it, but I would have stayed there.
So let's look at it like this. Seeing he going into his senior year, right? Mm-hmm. Knowing what he has to go against. Mm-hmm. What would you tell him as he's going into college, what to look for? What would be ideal if you wanted to succeed in college?
Well, everything different now, man. You can just go on Instagram and just make a brand for yourself. But to answer your question, it's kind of tough because it's just like I tell my high school kids, man, you got to have a real passion for this, because that discipline over trumps everything. If you're not disciplined and consistent, that passion ain't gonna matter. You feel what I'm saying? So something really in your mind got to click and be like, this is really what I want. But I would say, man, when you go in there, you just got to just know in your mind what's the goal, what's the vision, and keep going about that. You can't, because you're going to face obstacles every day. You feel what I'm saying? And you can't let that deter you from what you got going on at all. You know what I mean? So I would just say, man, just find that discipline right now. You got to have a regimen. If you waking up at 7, if you're going to work out, if you got to go to a trainer in the afternoon, you need to do that now, because once you get to college, ain't nothing really going to change. You know what I mean? You still going to be with the team. You still got to eat breakfast, still got, weights and things like that. But when it's all said and done, when you done, you still got to go to the field.
Yeah.
Because practice, some of it cool, but you know how your body is, and you know what you need to do to get better. Some of them coaches can only tell you so much.
Right.
But you still got to get that extra work in. So that's what I say, man. You just got to be consistent, man, and you got to be on that for real.
When it was life after football, and you realized that it was life after football, what was that like? When my whole life been about football, it's my dream. This is what I see me doing. These are the things I went through all my adversity until now. That main adversity is I'm not going to be playing. I got to move forward. What was that like?
It was hard, man. I didn't just living in the moment back then. It was tough. And we talked about this recently. Like, I usually tell my story to the kids that I coach, And one of them came up to me and was just like, "Dang, coach, like, it's kind of crazy. Like, you don't even supposed to be here right now. Like, you supposed to be in the league, but you out here coaching us. Like, that's crazy. It's kind of like you've been doing something your whole life, or you in a race your whole life, and then you just get to the finish line and you trip and fall, and you don't make it." And I'm just thinking about it. I'm just like, dang, that's kind of what happened. Like, I've been doing something my whole life just to make it to this point, and literally one person had my life in their hands and really just snatched it away from me at the goal line. So when that happened, it was just like, you got to start over, because it ain't like, okay, well, I can just keep training because I'm about to go to the league. It ain't that no more.
Yeah.
Like, it's done. You feel what I'm saying? Like, you got to find something, and it takes a while. You feel, you got to start trying a whole bunch of different things. You might go get a job here. You might want to open up a business. You might want to, whatever it may be. Like, you don't know. Yeah. Like, that was it.
And like, I think that's the big part that, you know what I mean, that I even want to be able to show, is that because when you get to a point to where you done everything, you know what I mean, and you made it here, but in my mind was that was it. That was the picture. Yeah. It wasn't a picture after that. It was that picture. But when that picture now is gone, and now my mind has to be on a new picture. Yeah. You know, even with a degree, it still doesn't match the picture that I had for myself. Right. So to even try to go into the degree sometimes even don't make sense, don't feel good. But I have to do something because there was to amount inside of myself, right, to what the goal was. Right. You know, and it comes with a sense of humbleness. Now to be able to get here in a different facet, you know, and that's what a lot of athletes don't know. Yeah. You know, when the lights out, it's not that. You done what you could in that dream. Now it's time to dream bigger. Right. You know what I mean? To make that transition in dreams. You know, that's something that's hard.
Man, you preaching to the choir right now. It's tough, man. Like, because in our community especially, man, we don't really have nobody to teach us that. Yeah. You feel what I'm saying? Now you're starting to get a lot more people that's entrepreneur mind that be able to teach us some of these skills and things like that, but they overcharging people. Yeah. Like, man, we come from the slums, we come from nothing. You know what I mean? Like, we trying to invest in ourselves and things like that, but we don't know what invest in ourselves mean. Like, right. You gotta be able to take somebody under your wing and be able to, hey man, this is what I did, or I see talent in you, this is what I think you can do to get to this next level, or something like that. You get what I'm saying? So, man, that transition is crazy because it's like you got to find a whole new passion. You know what I mean? Literally. Like, I was, 25, 26? So I've been doing this for so long. Right. But now you telling me to start over at 26, 27? Man, that's tough. Like, I literally just stopped playing football in 2019. You get what I'm saying? Actually, no, last year, because I tried out for the XFL. Right. You know what I mean? So I'm 31. You get what I'm saying? So now it's like, damn, what's next? Because that's a whole skill that I obtained my whole life. Now it's all about finding a whole nother skill. You get what I'm saying? And skills just don't take a year, 2 years.
To develop,
Yeah, it takes some time. Yeah. And at the same time, you got to find a mentor. Like, who really, people charging $20,000 just to mentor somebody. Like, come on, bro. Like, so it's just all about, right now, just about finding genuine people, man, to be able to help you. You know what I mean? So, yeah, man, that transition was hard.
Yeah. Man, even in making that transition, I'm going to say, you know, it was good. But what I want to actually be able to talk a little bit about is going from the player to the coach. And we'll come right back, man, after this video, and then we'll hit up on it, man.
I appreciate the heartbreak. That's what made me who I am today. That's what gave me all the motivation that I needed. I plan on rubbing it in your face. I stand on everything that I say. I've been on a move, and I owe it all to you. I see you calling. Ain't got nothing to speak on. Had enough time to sleep on me. Sting on it, yeah. I had to run this shit up myself. Thought I wouldn't be shit when you left. Thought I wouldn't be shit without your help. I'm on. Now you praying you can see the day where I fall off. I didn't wanna have to throw away what we fought for, but I learned from all my mistakes. I appreciate the heartbreak. That's what made me who I am today. That's what gave me all the motivation that I needed. I plan on rubbing it in your face. I stand on everything that I say. I've been on a move, and I owe it all to you.
All right, we back, man. I am your host, Train. If you guys just now tuning in, I have a special guest in the house, Teldrick Morgan, along with my son, Teldrick Grant. Man, right before we went out the air, we were going to talk about, from player to coach. But in between that time and becoming a coach, right, we was talking about that transition from no football to now in the working world. What were some of the things, man, that you found yourself doing to try to, make up for a new life outside of football?
Oh man, that's a good question. I was literally trying everything, like literally. So I want to say after I left the Niners, I think I ended up moving to Atlanta or something like that. I wanted to go live, obviously, with our brother and stuff like that. But the main reason why I went out there is because it was really nobody in Maryland that I can really be around, because you have to be in an environment of where you want to get to. Right. You feel what I'm saying? So if I wanted to get into the league, I had to be around people that's in the league. So I'm like, okay, I'm about to move to Atlanta. Our brother gave me a good opportunity, so I'm just like, okay, I'm about to go out there, and I'm about to just find something. So I went out there, ended up finding probably one of the best trainers I ever had, in Lily. You know what I mean? She ended up getting me right, and she ended up looking out. You feel what I'm saying? Like, I'm forever indebted to her, for real. Yeah. Because a lot of people, they tax. You get what I'm saying? So she looked out, ended up finding a couple homeboys, man. They tried to put me on with their agent and stuff like that. And it was going good for a while, but it was just that cloud that I had in New Mexico that just wouldn't leave. Right. You feel what I'm saying? So whatever I would have done, it really didn't matter. You get what I'm saying? So ended up working for a moving company out there. You feel? And at this point, in my mind, I'm $1 million person. You feel what I'm saying? Right. I made it to the league. Nobody can sit here and tell me that ain't where I should be. You know what I mean? Right. Off my play, off whatever it may be, my knowledge, whatever. You feel what I'm saying? So in my mind, it's like, okay, if practice squad making, $8,000-$10,000 a week, that's what I need to make. Realistically, that's not gonna happen, because now you're in the real world. You feel what I'm saying? But that's what I was thinking in my mind. So at that point, I just ego. You can't let your ego over trump anything. So I'm working for a moving company. You gotta make money. You feel what I'm saying? So I'm working for a moving company. I'm training, with Lily and things like that. and it wasn't sustainable for so long. So I had to move back home to Maryland. You feel what I'm saying? And then, but during that time, I always been a person that like research a lot of information. You feel me? So I ended up finding a guy named Pushman Mitch, and we started talking. Well, he started talking about rental cars and things like that. So I ended up jumping into the entrepreneur world, starting my own rental car company. From there, ended up meeting a guy that helped me, get into car detailing products. Met my mentor and Tate Pips. Started day trading on Forex, Wall Street Trappers, stock options. So what I'm saying is, man, I really had to get to a point that's like, damn, what I'm gonna do? Because all I know is football. You feel what I'm saying? What else do I need to know? Okay, financial literacy is big. I really want to know that. Talking to you every day, talking to my boy Lou, my boy Ket, Cyrus and stuff like that. And Lou, he really just 360 my whole mind. Oh damn, you don't know about Black history? Well, let me read up on this Black history. You don't know about the world? Let me read up on this.
Right.
Oh, you been day trading since college? Like, dang, why ain't, you know what I mean? So I'm really just playing catch up at that point. But if you tell me something, I gotta look it up.
Right.
And I'm gonna go in a rabbit hole about it. So to answer your question, man, I tried everything, and I'm still gonna keep trying it until I figure out what I like.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? I feel like that's just where we at, and I feel like that's for everybody, man. You just can't stop at one thing, because sometimes that one thing don't work.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, yeah.
And even going through that, man, how did it just so happen that a sport that you felt you had to walk away from, you find yourself right back in coaching?
Man, my dad gonna laugh, but man, my dad been telling me to coach for the longest, but I'm just like, nah, man, I'm playing ball. Like, I'm trying to get back to the league. You feel what I'm saying? So he just like, all right, you know what I mean? But it's kind of like what you say, like, you got to walk in your own path, and you got to figure out what's for you. You know what I mean? So it's just been one of those points, because I was already going to the field still and having some kids out there. So my mentor, Mudge, ended up hitting me up, just like, man, you want to come coach? And I'm just like, all right, man, let me try it out, or whatever it is. So I ended up trying it out, and I just liked it. You know what I mean? Like, just still being around the game. It ain't the money that you expect, but it's the love for it.
Yeah.
You feel what I'm saying? Like, that'll never die down.
What is it that you feel that you are giving to these kids as a coach that you feel was possibly not given to you as an athlete?
$1 million worth of game. I'm giving them everything, man. Like, I feel like I really got it. Yeah. You feel what I'm saying? Like, everything I done been through and went through, and just to still make it from where we from Texarkana. You feel what I'm saying? Like, not a lot of people make it out of there in general. You feel me? So, just for me to go through that and just to make it, bro, like, I feel like I got the sauce, I got the juice that I can be able to give back to them. Yeah. And I can articulate it in a way that they understand it. Right. We going in a new age right now, but I'm not no offense to everybody else, but I'm not the old head that's just out here, well, this is what you got to do, and, because it's still egos in the game. Right. You feel what I'm saying? I'm okay. How's it at home? You need a ride? Yeah. How your family structure? How you doing in school? How this? What can I attach myself to be able to gain your trust, so we can keep this ball rolling? You feel what I'm saying?
What do you feel like? What do you feel like a coach impact is on an athlete?
Coach impact. On personal experience, my coaches, they just keep us going on a competitive level for football. Me personally, I ain't never had to have that coach like to get check on me, because overall I've been straight. But I know our coaches for certain kids that need it, like, they'll be there for them, check on them, uplift them, give them stuff they need. And then, of course, competitively, they push us to, like, their top limit.
Yeah, I think that's one of the biggest things, is having coaches, man, that really see you more than a talent.
Yeah.
See you as an individual, see you as a person.
Yeah.
I didn't get that until I went to college, and it was crazy because coming out of high school, man, I had a different type of hunger, you know, because it really was it was trench life.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it really was like slum life. You know, I love my grandmother. You know what I mean, but I understood where I was living at. You know what I mean, and I felt like that was my last hope.
Yeah.
So outside of that, it was prison, buried, college.
Yeah.
That was it. You know what I mean? So my choice became easy. But my road to get there wasn't easy.
Yeah, sure.
You know what I mean? So when I got to college, man, my mind was already operating on a different. I wasn't a kid no more.
Yeah.
You know, when I got there. So looking at a whole host of, you know, white coaches, you know what I mean, and a Hawaiian coach, you know, nothing can penetrate me nor break me.
Yeah.
From not coming back here.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? The only thing that could was what happened.
Yeah.
Because if it wasn't that, nothing was stopping me. You know, it was just facing that piece of, you know, trial and error,
Yeah.
trauma. You know, and being young as a man and then realizing you're not really a man. You're still a child growing.
Yeah.
Learning, you know what I mean?
Sure.
You don't know it all. And that's why it was important to me, you know, when you got to New Mexico, was to be able to tell you, don't let them get in here.
Yeah.
Don't let them get in here. Let it stay on the field. You know, a lot gonna come, but put it on the field. Don't put it in their face.
Yeah.
You know, you begin to understand, like, you know, it is business. I love the game, but if I want to play the game that I love, I got to play it how it go.
Yeah.
You know, and I learned that from high school because I played with a coach that, because I wasn't a yes man, because I knew how to stand on my own 2 feet young in life, I had to, you know, and I wasn't getting bullied.
Yeah.
By a kid, by a coach, nobody.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to show me, you know, and having that type of attitude, having that type of demeanor, people will try to tame you, and you can't tame me. And so me going through those things, me going through, oh, we just gonna bench you, you know, just because we want to bench you, not because, you know, no other reason, but just to try to power trip. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It built me up for what I would have to go through.
Yeah.
And it was so funny, man. My first year in Iowa, man, it was like my senior year in high school. Just because when I went in, it was 3 other kids in the same position. And I'm like, this ain't what y'all told me.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
from the jump.
Yeah.
Like, you know, y'all didn't tell me this, but I realized I couldn't turn around. I couldn't go back. I hitchhiked up here, so I can't turn around.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to fade this.
Yeah.
They going to have to fade me. And it just built me up like that. You know, I learned how to become mannerable, especially when you far away from home. You know, you just ain't going to act the same as when you went home and you 17 hours away, you know what I mean? So yeah, it built me up to be prepared for it, you know, but it is those trials and those times of adversity that build you up.
Yeah.
But also when it's over, you know, for you to be able to bounce back and be just as good or better in whatever life has for you. You know, there is life after football.
Yeah.
You know, even for him, I let him know that now. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, you want football, that's cool. But what about work?
Yeah.
What type of work do you want to do? You know what I mean? What do you see yourself doing? Because this not the ending of the dream.
Yeah.
You know, but it's putting it on them now because I know I've been there.
Yeah.
And I didn't make the right choices.
Yeah.
Don't let my choices be your choices. You know what I mean? learn from those things that went before you. Learn from me. Learn from you.
Yeah.
That you continue to do what you do and have a better navigation, to your end goal.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what it's all about, is by truly coming to an end goal.
Mm-hmm.
And it's cool to be where you at, to where I'm going to try everything until I get it, until I feel, within me satisfied about what it is of me to be doing, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know how long it took for me to become satisfied with what I'm doing in life when football was over with, went to prison, lost a kid. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Back out here, lose money again, back in prison a second time, and then come out here, you got 4 kids, you know what I mean, that you gotta own up to now.
Yeah. It's tough.
You get what I'm saying? So man, I don't know, but it built me for today.
Yeah.
Because nothing in life is solidified until you know the purpose of that life.
Yeah.
And that's where we got to realize. See, football is only a stage.
Mm-hmm.
It's not the purpose. It's the stage.
Mm-hmm.
This right here, the transition show, it's only a stage. It's not my purpose. But it gives me a platform to be able to live my purpose. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Football does those things for us because you don't never know what is going to be after that. But it's something coming after that. It's shortly lived these days.
Yeah.
For everybody, even if you make it, it's shortly lived. So it's like, what is that end goal, and do I know it? And am I taking everything that I've been through and being okay with it?
Right.
Being happy about it, because I know that it built me up for this goal, this purpose of life, of living, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And a lot of that is giving back, like what you're doing now and coaching and stuff. It's just funny how we don't get to hear the stories, of those who actually made it to a pinnacle, and what happened after that.
Yeah.
It's like some of these rappers, they have a one-hit wonder, then you'll hear 10 years later, oh, whatever happened to Joe DeBree, stuff like that. Something happened, man.
Yeah.
And those things that happen, people need to know, because there are other people who have that same dream.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And they need to know what they're going to be faced against.
Yeah.
Because the percentages are so small for those that do get there.
Yeah.
So look at Zeke right now. Man, I ain't finna keep looking for a team, and I ain't no team.
Yeah.
But if this is all I know,
yeah,
I'm gonna keep looking until it just tell me it's no more.
Right.
That's a hard position to be in, because it's all you know.
Mm-hmm.
So I gotta already be making some adjustments in mind about what is life after football. Do you know? You see what I'm saying? You gotta be thinking about that. Because it's gonna happen. And we gotta be able to be prepared and be ready. Even hearing you with the stock, with your rental car, even with your products, even coaching. I'm still climbing. But it ain't even a climb no more when you know the purpose.
Right.
The purpose presents everything in life, and everything that I gathered along the way began to make sense, because I see now how it's a tool in my toolbox, to help me to be better at being just me.
Yeah.
And that's really, what it's all about.
Yeah.
Man, I appreciate you for coming on, bro. Want you to tell people how they can reach you, let them know your social media apps, and things of that nature. And then, Kobe, you do the same.
Okay. Y'all can reach me on Instagram at TeldrickM. I don't really be on Twitter, but on Instagram it's TeldrickM, TeldrickM. And y'all can just follow me on there.
You can reach me on Instagram, Kobe4Thomas._ and on Twitter at D1.Kobe.
So tell us about what you're looking for the next year coming up.
College, another state championship.
College and another state championship?
Yeah, that's about it right now.
What school? Where you at?
I don't know yet.
Saying what school you at right now?
South Oakland.
All right, so shout him out. You know what I'm saying? Man, nah, that's my baby, man. You know what I mean? He bigger than me, but he a good kid, man. He one of them that listen. You know, go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to say one more thing.
Yeah.
No, so you brought up a lot of good points. You feel what I'm saying? That's good that you teaching him what's life after football. You feel what I'm saying? Because I feel like that's important. Because I look at it, let's say you don't go to college. What you gonna do? Like if this your last year and you don't get any opportunities, like what you gonna do? Like that's something that you got to think about. And that's kind of what I tell the kids at my high school as well. Like I wasn't big on having like my goal was, okay, this is what I got, and I'm going to stay like that way. You feel what I'm saying? But I never thought about what's next. So it's good that, you know, your dad's sitting here talking to you about it so you can have that in your mind because you're young right now. You feel what I'm saying? So you got a long life ahead of you to be able to, you know, think that through and things like that. So, yeah.
Yeah. And sometimes, you know, it's not, you know, life don't allow us to live it how we think we should. You know what I mean? I may think that I'm young and I got time, but things can happen in life that elevate you before your time.
Yeah.
And you have to be ready for that.
Yeah.
You know, that's the one thing, like I let them know, is that, you know, something can happen to me. You know, God forbid, something can happen to your mother. But my children have been through their own trials and adversities, you know what I mean, and things that they had to see. And even though as parents we do what we supposed to do to cover those things that they don't have to feel it, it's still there. And because it's there, I'm one that want them to be able to know what you have to do. It's like I told him before, at some point you're going to have to learn how to become super. Remember me telling you that? At some point, you're going to have to learn how to be super. It's going to cause for you to step into your resiliency. You know, understand that and develop that now.
Yeah.
Don't wait until it smack you in the face.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But, man, I appreciate you for coming out, man, both you guys. Check us out next Sunday on another he turned the thing over. I just lost everything. But now, check us out next Sunday, man, on another show, the Transition Talk Show. Appreciate y'all, man.
Yes, sir.
How could I ever turn my back on the chosen few? So what I do, look at me. In a picture was bittersweet. I did it for all y'all, but I never did do it for me. This is not turned on you, say this is just turning to me. Knowing that I am better than I am. Afraid to look at me, ugly faces is all I got. The pain or horror inside the thing that you keep in the dark. Walking with smiley faces while holding a broken heart. Chambers of locked doors ain't open and kinda rough. Looking at deep wounds and knowing that I've been cut. So I know that I feel the pain, the umbrella